It's not that hard.
You guys are crazy. All right, well, if you want to try it, I'll sit back and watch you guys.
See,
do
you
it.
just gotta go.
Alright, in this video today we're looking at a mine up by Jacob City. You can see me heading into the mine right there. We had to go under it. This is a couple of my friends. We're heading into the entrance. We had to slide under it and do some gymnastics to get in. We started off heading down the walkway. I had my night core headlamp on. It's a very nice one. I like it a lot. Lots of different settings, really bright. I didn't have my full brightness on yet, but it will get to eventually. You can see me looking around corners, checking, make sure there's no animals in there, make sure we're safe. Just keep walking down this corner. It's not very bright until we get to this point, which I see the mine shaft, and I had another video where it's we look down at the floor. It probably drops down 50 feet at least. Finally made our way further on, checking out different deposits, see how far they went back. And then we went down the main tunnel. And once we went down the main tunnel, we saw a lot of different other stuff. I'm checking out the walls right now. There's a bit of silt on them. It's really red coloring on their wall. It's for the rocks, different types of rocks in there. Keep heading down. Lots of different graffiti on here too, either done by geologists or by random teenagers. I'm looking up the old shafts on above, seeing how far they went up, making sure nothing would fall on us and nothing's up there. Seeing the lines as little paths, little veins of different ores and stuff. Most of them are just deposits and maybe quartz or redstone. But here I am looking at a pipe. This is probably one of the pipes they use to supply air through the mine. It made sure people can breathe through the mine. It's not in operation anymore, but thankfully it wasn't terribly lack of oxygen in there. It was decent. Now we're heading over some mounds. This is probably one where maybe a bit of a cave-in happened or something, but it was still clear enough to be able to get through. Looking up and everywhere, seeing what we can find. There's not much else around town until we get further back in more, and then I see something, and I realize that it's actually after I'm following the air pipe, I look up and I see a bat, and it's just right there. It's this cute little guy. He's probably still hibernating, just sleeping for the daytime. We didn't disturb him too much, and he was asleep the whole time. Just remember, when going through these mines and stuff, to always clean your clothes up before you enter a new mine or a cave, so you don't spread white nose syndrome, which is affecting a lot of bats around town. Finally got in decent ways, and we saw a really cool thing. It's a ladder. Leads up to the second story of this or so, at least that we could find. And thankfully this ladder wasn't new, but it was new in the rest of the stuff in the mine. We were able to climb up it. It's particularly sturdy and such. And I got back up over the hunch of it, so we had to go up the top and then climb over a log, so it was a bit tricky to get up there. Kind of fun though. He hands me my GoPro up, and I'm filming him how he gets up. And it's probably a good 15-foot drop or so. It's not bad. I liked it a lot. He's finally going to get up here, and once he does, I'm going to pan over and see what else this mine has to offer. They're scared at the bottom looking up at us, and once he gets up, we're looking at the rest of the mine. And I'm going up one way, and we're going to see what's all around. We see 3 pathways at this point. One we came from, then one he's standing at, and the one I'm in right there. I'm going to go up that one. And then I start to climb over a ledge, and I start seeing another room. And I thought this one at first was just piled high with rocks and stuff, and it was closed off. But once I squeezed back in there a bit, I realized that it opened up quite a lot. It led down to a parallel tunnel right by that, much caved in, but it's probably just another gold vein they were going after, and you can see them coming up through the hole which I came through just a minute before. It was a bit of a tight squeeze, not the tightest in that mine at all, but it was a tight squeeze nonetheless. Here is Jordan coming up. He's trying to squeeze in there, and he's pretty tall. He's like 6'5" or something. Used to play basketball, and Garrett just accidentally threw a rock down. But we're gonna see if we can head out a bit more, and Garrett's gonna go on top, see what else he can find up there. We did make it up to as far as we can get up there, and you see all the old ore debris and the old mineral deposits and stuff. I'm just looking around, seeing if there's anything else we can find up there. There wasn't much else up this pathway, and so once we figured out what was in there, which wasn't much, we started to head back down the other way. And then this is when we came up to the other room, which had some old stilts and stuff, which you can see it's not holding up much anymore. This one was a bit more open though, and looks like there was maybe another gold mine they went through there for. Then we get to the part where it's probably an old ore chute. Once you get past this wooden bridge, and this part is really cool. It looks like they had a whole belt or something. This is probably where they washed out the gold ore, and that's why it's kind of a great thing right there. Finally, we get past this point, and Garrett's looking around, seeing if there's anything else, and we find an old fire pit. I wouldn't recommend doing this because it kind of burns away the oxygen's mine. And then we climb a bit more, find another pathway. We keep going up, and we get past the boulders in the room, and we get to a point where it's getting tight a bit, until once we get to Garrett's point, it opens up a little bit, and then you can see it actually it opens up to the top, which is kind of like almost a fault line, but it's man-made. Looks like there's a whole gold deposit. If I look up right about now, you'll see that the whole thing above me is opened up, and it's quite gorgeous. It looks rather nice and everything. Probably a lot of gold ore in there at one point. And then you can see the archways and people climbing over stuff for that. We keep moving upwards and climbing over ledges, and then we get to this point where it gets a little tight, even for my liking. I'm waiting for Garrett to give me the go-ahead, see what he says. And so I put it down, and we kind of squeeze on through. And it was kind of fun. And then we get the graffiti that says "Turn Back," which was a nice symbol, but we're adventurous, and we tend not to. This is the part where it's an ore chute, I think, because they had a metal plate, and it looks like where they just shoved the ore and it just slid down through the tunnel, and then eventually onto your cart and out the mine. It was a bit tricky to get over this, just because of how much it was. And then we finally got to this room, and Garrett saw a path that goes up, and he found a hole that was barely even the size of him that he could make it through, which led to another opening on the other side of that. I went up the middle pathway here, right by him, and went up all the way up there to see what was up there. It didn't continue on, but it was kind of cool to go all the way up there. The whole thing was kind of hard to get up to because you put one foot down and the rocks underneath it kept slipping out from under you. And you gotta watch out for spiders and crickets and mice and stuff like that. Got back up, and here I am looking at the bottom of it, ready to head back down. Once I get to the top, looking around, not much. So here I am gonna head back down, meet up with the guys again, make sure they're doing alright. Take a break for a minute, and then back on. There I am, we're heading straight back down the ore chute and see the other side of it. This I am getting back that ladder we came up from it first. And getting back down is always the tricky part, just because gravity is against you at this point. So I'm going to wrap my leg around the timber on top, and then I'm going to put one leg on the ladder, then kind of swing over and get back down. This was probably the funnest part of it, just because it's fun to climb stuff like this. I take the GoPro and I get all the way down, reach ground level again, which we spent probably about an hour up on the top level. Here we are getting out of it. Again, a little harder to get out than to get in. Finally, everybody's Garrett's coming out at last, and then we take a gander at the canyon side. This whole thing's just in a massive canyon where Ghost Town used to be. Garrett's finally out of there. And then we kind of pan over and just see the gorgeous canyon that we're in at this point. Just beautiful.